Imagine you're sitting in a pitch-black theater. The lights go down, the bass rumbles, and a movie trailer starts rolling. The stakes? Literally existential. The setting? A high-pressure simulated baseball stadium at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Today, we're diving deep into an explainer on one of the most surreal, completely unhinged, and conspiratorial audio projects ever made. It's basically the ultimate underdog script disguised as a closed-loop digital experiment, and we're going to walk through exactly how it pulls you down into the deep end.
We're actually skipping our usual agenda today because this one single quote sets up our entire vibe. They tell you that baseball is a game of history, but that's a lie sold to you by the people who print the cards. Boom! That right there frames this whole explainer as a gripping psychological thriller. It's an existential crisis wrapped up in a rigged system. The creator just instantly strips away all that romanticized baseball legacy, replacing it with this gritty, conspiratorial, against-all-odds energy.
Now, for a cinematic blockbuster of this scale, what do you think the production budget was for this 9-inning deep-sea battle? Literally $2. Seriously, $2. The creator absolutely leans into the poverty of this project. I mean, if this were a Hollywood studio film, executives would have pulled the plug before the first pitch. But that tiny budget? That's its superpower. It's guerrilla production at its finest, turning spare change into a high-stakes battle for reality itself.
So the creator kicks off this journey with a voiceover saying, "I walked into a shop, slapped 2 crisp American dollars on the counter." And with that one move, he buys a single foil pack of baseball cards. Cards that have probably been collecting dust in some humid warehouse for like 30 years. Ripping open that foil is the inciting incident of our movie trailer. It turns a random stack of cardboard into the ultimate Moneyball underdog story. You don't get a refund if the cards are bent, you just play the hand you're dealt.
And hey, every great underdog story needs its ragtag cast, right? But our guys, they aren't your multi-million-dollar superstars with private chefs and trainers. Meet the 5 Lives. Eddie Zosky, Jeff Hunson, Mickey Tettleton, Eric Anthony, and Mike Bordick. These guys are vulnerable, organic, blue-collar utility players, and they have absolutely no idea they're about to be plunged into a digital pressure chamber to face off against the absolute titans of a so-called optimal reality.
Every sci-fi thriller needs a high-tech command center. In ours? Well, the creator maps out the server room, which in physical reality is literally just the local public library. But he records his walk there and treats it with total, absolute sincerity. This library functions as the meta-layer staging ground. It's this quiet, echoing repository where reality is verified before the system spins up and the real underwater battle begins. It's just brilliant world building. From that command center, we establish what he calls the physics of the abyss. We leave the surface level of the library and drop straight down into the Atlantis Trench. This is where our 5 utility players get dropped onto bioluminescent turf. And waiting for them? The villains of our story. The 1992 All-MLB Home Run Kings. But they aren't described as men anymore. They're described as cold, high-resolution renders of pure greed and optimized statistics.
And down here, the environment is just brutal. We're talking 6 atmospheres of pressure. The simulation is actively struggling to render the physics of a baseball game underwater. When Mickey Tettleton takes his first swing, you don't hear that classic crack of a wooden bat in the open air. No, the creator describes this deep, resonant, metallic clang like a submarine hull getting hit as the ball just slowly cuts through the heavy water, leaving this trail of bubbles behind it.
So this sets up the ultimate cinematic showdown. On one side, you have organic reality, a $2 pack of bruised, real, vulnerable utility players. Facing them down is the synthetic illusion, those 1992 home run kings with their manufactured intensity, optimized code, and massive synthetic advantage. It's unadulterated human grit staring down cold, high-res renders fueled by greedy algorithms. It's man versus machine at the bottom of the sea.
But as we look at the data, we notice something super shady going on. The system is actually stabilizing the water pressure exactly where the 1992 legends needed. I'm talking fastballs literally curving around water molecules. Every single swing they take gets a perfect high-speed arc. The system is giving them a completely rigged invisible boost, so the spectacle always favors the house. They're the system's golden boys, playing with cheat codes that don't show up on any stat sheet.
Then, right in the middle of this intense analysis, the creator drops a massive metabomb about the fragile nature of this whole project, basically asking, what happens when a digital entity just deletes itself? It hits you that we aren't just watching a simulation. We're trapped inside a fragile, limited edition digital ghost of a game that never even happened in the first place. This brings us to the creator's core philosophy. It's a closed-loop system, 9 innings, 9 episodes, no Season 2, no subscription model to milk for cash. The data literally dissolves as it plays. Think about that. Unlike everything else online that's designed to be infinitely monetized and live forever, this is a literal suicide mission. They are wiping the evidence as we go, building a temporary reality that vanishes the second the final ball is hit.
As the timeline accelerates, we start to experience this visceral, physical breakdown of the machine itself. By episode 6, the system is just pushed to the absolute brink. The 1992 team is crushing our underdogs, right? But then Eddie Zosky somehow fouls off a 105-mile-per-hour synthetic heater. The system has zero idea how to process a $2 piece of cardboard resisting an optimized pitch, and the whole simulation just starts strobing red. Warning lights everywhere.
By the time we hit the 7th inning, titled The Canvas, things are getting desperate. The Atlanta Stadium literally springs a leak. Water is just pouring in. Utility player Mike Bordick totally out-hustles the synthetic legends, lining a shot that almost takes the pitcher's head off. The system's performance enhancers start failing, the code begins to corrupt, and the 1992 Stars actually look scared. Not because they're losing on the scoreboard, but because they're getting outworked by guys who weren't even supposed to be on this stage.
Moving into Episode 8, The Corner, the tables have completely flipped. Our $2 underdog cards, yeah, they're bruised, they're exhausted, but they are solid. They're real. Meanwhile, the manufactured 1992 Titans are physically falling apart. The simulation is struggling to keep their textures together, and they actually start flickering into static. The Matrix simply cannot compute this level of unyielding human grit from a couple of cardboard utility players.
Which brings us to the climax of our trailer, Episode 9, The Final Swing. The entire Atlantis Stadium is dissolving into this roaring white noise. Eric Anthony steps into the batter's box. The 1992 pitcher on the mound is trembling, his rendering flickering so bad until he's basically just a blank, faceless NPC. It all comes down to this one single at-bat, challenging the very reality of the game itself.
Anthony swings. The sound cuts cleanly through the static. He hits an absolute moonshot deep into the dark abyss. The fading 1992 team doesn't even try to field it, and the core message of the entire explainer rings out. We didn't win the series on the scoreboard, but we won the reality. Man, the effort was the victory. Crashing the simulation completely proved that the so-called invincible, optimized system was entirely hollow the whole time.
What an absolutely incredible narrative arc, crafted from practically nothing. So I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on. If a random, organic, $2 pack of baseball cards has the grit to break an optimized, high-resolution digital matrix, what other seemingly perfect, untouchable, and rigged systems around you are just waiting for an organic glitch to bring them crashing down? Keep questioning the simulation, guys.